I think this word vaccines will be banned from the medical vademecum. When the truth finally surfaces, it would have been over if we had not intervened with these mass vaccination campaigns. If you make an airplane, it can be very sophisticated technology, but if you do not take into account the laws of nature, gravity for example, your plane will never fly. And I asked its, so to say, stupid question to the WHO. They refused to give the data because it was confidential. How can things be confidential? As a program manager, we had like every week our meetings, as I was saying, was like one big organization, and CDC together with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, with UNICEF, with Gavi, with the WHO, etc. And then they tell me, wait a minute, Geert, this is confidential. We cannot disclose this, right? So it is, the things that I'm saying, this is so overwhelming. It's not like looking for small details, right? And because it is like this, I knew immediately that I would raise my voice this time, because I have been extremely frustrated back in those days, right? That I would raise my voice and that I would not shut my mouth till, the truth surfaces, right? And I'm still waiting for it. I'm so happy I've done this, because I can always still look in the mirror. They are fundamentally disturbing an equilibrium between pathogens and the immune system that has been shaped, in fact, for millions of years. Any intervention in your immune system where you don't understand what you're doing, this can only be qualified as stupidity, right? None of this has been tested. Were there pregnant women enrolled? Were there children enrolled? Were there very elderly people enrolled, so above 75? Were there people enrolled who had already had the infection before? This is, scientifically speaking, an insult, really.
I'm really imploring the people and all the peoples around the world, for God's sake, stop giving your democratically elected governments the benefit of the doubt. They are not deserving of that. They are not. Stop rationalizing whatever your government is doing. Stop rationalizing and come up with some good intentions. They have no good intentions. Never. As I said before, in the entire history of mankind, there has never been a political elite concerned about the well-being of regular people. And it isn't any different now. Why should it? Stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. Because I can tell you, you cannot comply your way out of a tyranny. It is impossible. Trying to do so, you will only feed a gigantic alligator in the hopes of being eaten last. But guess what? Your turn will come, and then you will be the one swallowed up. I also have to ask the people, end your silence. Speak up. For God's sake, stop complying. Start rebelling. They're out to get you if you do not resist. I would also urge you to stop voting for those who inflict this psychological abuse on you, who mock you for their own good. In order to deal with this unfree world, to defy this unfree world, I have decided to become so absolutely free that my very existence is an act of rebellion. And that's what we all need to do. The goal ultimately is to transform our free and democratic societies into totalitarian societies. Their goal is to strip each and every one of us of our fundamental rights of freedom, democracy, the rule of law. They want to get rid of all of this. And they're robbing us of our identity. Whether it be our national identity, our cultural identity, they won't even stop to rob us of our sexual identity. The very core of who we are, they don't even stop there. This whole COVID thing had never anything to do with public health. It never had anything to do with breaking waves. It always had to do with breaking people in order to make us a part of a mindless, malleable mass, which they can totally control, and we will be completely dependent upon this globalitarian elite. That's what they have in store for us. You're sitting in the EU Parliament, but you can take any kind of international governing body or organization. It is no longer by the people, for the people. From now on, it will be by the globalitarian elites, for the globalitarian elites, and nothing else.
The estimates are from 3 different sources. One from Colombia by Pantazatos and Seligman. In 2021 alone, based on U.S. Census data and Vaccine Administration data, 178,000 Americans died due to the vaccine. 2021 alone, that's one estimate. The next one is by Skidmore and colleagues, Michigan State University, using social sciences data of people who knew others who died of the vaccine. His number came in for 2021 at 278,000 Americans. At the time of December of 2021, the CDC told America 9,000 Americans had died of the COVID-19 vaccine. The CDC, now that's what they had reported to them. Remember, if we don't have the vaccine card, and we don't have the lot numbers, and we don't have all the details, because when we enter Tavares, doctors enter Tavares, by the way, 86% of the time it's a doctor, a coroner, or healthcare professional. If we don't have all the information, we can't make the entry because we have to put our name on the line on a VAERS report. But 9,000 deaths, the vast majority occurred on the day they took the shot or a few days afterwards, times a standard underreporting factor that's in the FDA record by David Wiseman, and this is a conservative number, underreporting factor of 30. In the peer-reviewed published literature right now, there's underreporting factors of 35 and 40, but let's take 30. And we're at 9,000 deaths. It's 3 times 9. It's 270,000 for 2021. 270. So if we've lost 250,000 Americans in 2021 and a similar number in 2022 due to the vaccine, now we're up to 500,000 Americans lost. And now Josh Sterling, who under oath in the United States Senate, using U.S. overall all-cause mortality data and UK all-cause mortality data, he's estimating the vaccine is responsible for 600,000 lives lost. This is more than the Civil War. This is a modern-day American tragedy that's happening. People are being pitted with losing their job and losing their livelihood or losing their life with a vaccine. And no one's apologizing for it. My clinical practice is completely full of patients who have suffered grave vaccine injuries, myocarditis, heart damage, requiring heart transplantation, ICDs, heart failure treatment, young people who can't exercise anymore. They have a syndrome called POTS, posterior orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, neuropathies where they can't feel their hands and their feet, have difficulty walking, strokes, intracranial hemorrhage, paralysis due to cervical myelitis, Guillain-Barré syndrome. I've seen the entire array of vaccine injuries. They're all in the peer-reviewed literature. This is not controversial. A Zogby survey last summer said 15% of people who have taken the vaccine have some new medical problem. And that's pretty close to the 7.7% in VSafe, where it emerged, it looks like, over about 42 days. So I can tell you, we have so many consistent sources of data. it's clear they're unsafe products. There's only one solution, is to pull them off the market. I don't care how good someone thinks they are theoretically. We can treat COVID. We can get people through medicines. We don't need a vaccine. They need to be removed from the market.